If you have ever sat across from someone and felt that something was wrong, even though their words sounded perfect, you already know this truth. The lie does not begin in the mouth. It begins in the eyes. I want you to imagine this. You ask a simple question, nothing dramatic, nothing aggressive, just a question that touches reality. And suddenly there is a flicker, a narrowing, a flash of irritation that disappears in a second. The smile returns. The tone is calm, but something in you feels cold. You are not imagining it. When we speak about narcissism, we are not speaking about vanity or confidence. We are speaking about a personality organized around protecting a fragile and often deeply wounded sense of self. And when that self feels threatened, the eyes will often reveal what the words are trying to hide. Let us explore this carefully. The narcissist does not experience lying in the same way you do. For many people, lying produces anxiety. The body tightens. The gaze shifts away. There is guilt. There is fear of being exposed. But in pathological narcissism, the internal world is different. The lie is not simply a tool to avoid consequences. It is a defense against psychological collapse. If reality threatens the grand image they hold of themselves, reality must be altered. In that moment, the eyes become the battlefield between truth and defense. So how do you read them? First, understand this. The eyes communicate affect. Affect is emotional tone. You cannot fake affect for long. You can rehearse words. You can control gestures. But the micro-expressions in the eyes are faster than conscious control. Have you ever noticed how, when confronted, a narcissistic individual may hold your gaze in a way that feels intense, almost penetrating? In that stare there is calculation. And then, if your question touches shame, something else happens. There may be a flash of contempt. Contempt is one of the most revealing emotions. It appears as a slight tightening around the eyes, sometimes a brief narrowing, sometimes a cold stillness. It lasts a fraction of a second. Then it is gone. But it tells you that your question has injured the grand self. Let me tell you a brief story from my experience. A narcissist was reported to me by the wife. Successful, charming, admired. His partner has confronted him about an affair. He insists she is paranoid. He looks at me calmly and says, "I have done nothing wrong." His voice is steady. But when I gently ask, "Why do you think she feels so distressed in that moment?" his eyes harden, just for a second. The warmth disappears. In its place is irritation and disdain, not towards me personally, but towards the implication that he could be flawed. That is the lie detector. It is not about whether he is guilty in a legal sense. It is about the emotional reaction to being seen as imperfect. Now you might ask, what if they maintain eye contact? Does that not prove honesty? No. Some narcissistic individuals use prolonged eye contact as dominance. It can feel hypnotic. They may lean forward slightly, soften their tone, and say, "Look at me. Do you really think I would do that to you?" Notice the shift. The focus moves from the facts to your perception of them. The eyes are used to pull you into their emotional field. If you begin to doubt yourself in that moment, the manipulation has worked. But there is another pattern that is equally important. When the lie is more fragile, the gaze may suddenly break, not in shame, but in a kind of emptiness. The eyes may look momentarily vacant, as if the person has retreated inside. This happens because maintaining the false self requires enormous psychological effort. Under pressure, the internal cohesion weakens. Have you ever seen someone look through you rather than at you? That distant look can signal disconnection from reality in order to protect the self. Now let us go deeper. The key emotion to watch is not anxiety, it is rage. Narcissistic rage is often subtle at first. The eyes may sharpen, the pupils may fix intensely, the blinking decreases, the face becomes still. This is the moment when the person feels exposed. If you continue to press gently on reality, the rage may surface more openly. The tone rises. The accusation begins. They will say, "You are attacking me. You are always criticizing me. Do you see what is happening?" The lie is defended not only with denial, but with counterattack. The eyes signal the shift before the words do. There is something important I must say here. Do not become obsessed with catching them. This is not a game of detective. It is about understanding the psychological process. When you recognize the pattern, you gain clarity, and clarity reduces your vulnerability. Let me ask you something. How many times have you ignored that flicker in the eyes because you wanted the relationship to work? How many times did you tell yourself that you were overreacting? But be careful. Not every intense gaze means deceit. Not every glance away means guilt. Context matters. Patterns matter. The consistency of behavior over time matters. What distinguishes pathological narcissism is the rigidity, the inability to tolerate being wrong, the rapid shift from charm to coldness when the self-image is threatened. The eyes reveal these shifts in real time. There is also the phenomenon of what is called emotional shallowness. When a narcissistic individual speaks about something that should evoke genuine empathy, the eyes may remain dry, flat, unresponsive. The words describe concern, but the effect does not match. This mismatch between content and emotion is often striking. Have you ever heard someone apologize and felt nothing behind it? The mouth says sorry. The eyes remain untouched. This is not accidental. It reflects an internal world in which others are often experienced as extensions of the self, rather than separate beings with independent feelings. And now I want to address something that may be uncomfortable. Sometimes the most powerful lie detector is your own discomfort. When the eyes of another person make you feel small, confused, or subtly threatened, pay attention, not with paranoia, but with curiosity. Ask yourself, what is happening inside me right now? Most often, partners of narcissistic individuals doubt their own perceptions. They focus on the eloquence of the words. They forget the emotional impact of the gaze. The eyes are not magical. They are windows into effect. An effect cannot be fully controlled when the personality structure is organized around defense. So what do you do with this knowledge? First, slow down. When you sense a discrepancy, do not rush to argue. Simply observe. Ask one calm, reality-based question and watch the reaction. Is there openness, or is there immediate defensiveness? Second, trust patterns over isolated moments. A single flicker means little. Repeated contempt, repeated coldness when challenged, repeated rage at gentle feedback. That is meaningful. Finally, understand that you cannot force insight into someone who defends against it. The purpose of recognizing deceit in the eyes is not to change them. It is to protect your own psychological integrity. When you begin to read the eyes not as mystical signals, but as expressions of inner structure, you become less vulnerable to manipulation. The lie may be carefully constructed, but the eyes, for a fraction of a second, tell the truth. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I will see you in the next one.